December 26th, and today we've got a very exciting surprise for those of you on the mobile app, which with any luck should be rolling out today. So I'll let you guys discover that, and we can talk about it more in the coming days. But welcome back. Let me start inviting some people up here. I will remind you that tomorrow we have our AMA with Vortex at 3 p.m. So that should be some good fun. Feel free to roast them a little bit. And yeah, what are you guys up to today?
Hey now, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Just got some rest after cranking out a 1,200 word essay yesterday.
What's that, like 2 pages?
About 3, yeah.
You
Got it done
perfecting
in one day. I did it all on the day it was due, so yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself.
Kudos.
Did you use GPT, or did you write it yourself?
Yeah, I really don't want to fail the class, so I wrote it myself.
Okay. Are you suggesting that the OpenAI source for Chat GPT is not good enough for you?
I'm saying that my college uses a software to track stuff that's already been written before, and I don't know how much I trust AI, especially when I see the ones that people use to try to write a screenplay and the freaking craziness that results from that.
It's
Okay,
interesting that you bring up ChatGPT, which is the text model AI that I think you're referring to, because it would be really interesting if Microsoft or someone bought them out and then started their own competing search engine against Google. I think it's about time that Google had some real competition.
Wait, haven't you heard of Bing?
I would love it. No, but I'm serious. Like, do you think AI powered like GPT style machine learning search engines could overtake Google? And if so, like, who's the biggest beneficiary? And yeah, is there any investable companies or theses we can take out of this?
Twitter.
Investable being the keyword.
Oh, my
Just to
bad.
let you guys know that OpenGPT is owned by OpenAI, which is actually owned by Elon Musk. So just want to help you guys out here. I know we're a little bit early to the call here.
Does he actually own it? I thought it was Sam Altman. Is he just like on the board or something? Oh no, you're right. You are correct. Sorry about that.
It's fine. I'll just pretend you didn't say that.
All right, well, let's dive into some plays. I'll invite some people up from the comments.
So if you got 5Gs and you want to invest in AutoZone, you can go right ahead. They beat the EPS and looking to be successful today.
Last time AutoZone beat, they were at 2,000 a share, and analysts came out with $2,600 predictions for them, and they just about hit it. So for this next run for the next few weeks, I honestly think they'll get close to 2,800. Looking about at least a month out, though.
Kind of circling back to the AI idea, and forgive me if this is a fairly weak answer. I have actually never done this before in my life. I've actually written a couple reports on NVIDIA. Not that they'd be able to compete with Google in terms of what they offer, because Google is just more ingrained in literally smartphones these days. But NVIDIA's AI branch and the way they're able to manage cloud development and the software that they can provide, it's starting to come up in self-driving cars. BMW has a deal with them. Mercedes does. So I think if we're talking in terms of AI, NVIDIA is going to become a powerhouse that can diversify itself far out of computer hardware and into what might wind up making up society and its infrastructure in the coming, say, 20 years.
Was that question too smart?
Scared all of
I
us.
didn't. Sorry, but my AI is telling me there was no question there.
Oh, I was answering a past question that I heard from somebody else. I didn't realize that I was supposed to ask something. I don't have shit to ask.
All right,
No,
so my
now you
algorithm's
got-
correct. Thank you.
Now you got to ask us a question.
MMTLP. If you don't know about it by now.
I remember him.
Oh,
Also, I was mentioning yesterday toward the end of market on our talk that I believe SPY rebounds. I'm buying 410 calls for Friday. Yeah, I usually don't do like 4-day out, 5-day out expirations, but man, the 0DTs have been kind of hard to predict lately.
So when did you start getting into that? Okay, was that yesterday or you?
Yeah,
looking at today?
about 5 till 4 yesterday. A few of us grabbed some. It's just VIX isn't. I watch VIX and I watch the 10-year to help me with the SPY the most, and neither one's acting in a way that SPY will stay down. Yesterday was an anomaly because it reacted to the news from the end of last week. So don't be surprised if it bounces around a little then goes up. That's why I'm doing the Friday 0DT. But I actually chose the 404s. I'm gonna look on my sheet here. I think I got the 404 for about 141 a piece. Because if it goes up to 410, then great, I'm way in the money. But there's no way this week's a down week for me in my mind. Looking at the dollar and the 10-year.
Nice, nice.
Actually, one thing that you guys might know about when, coming into 2023, what are your predictions on companies that might start opening up to hiring again? Because I know that the latter quarters of 2022 have just been about freezing hiring and kind of being skeptical of the market, not bringing on anybody and keeping it quiet. So who do you think will become a more major employer coming into 2023 as things hopefully start opening up again?
I know I would stay away from any consumer discretionary funding. Funds are shrinking for households, and I don't see any time in the next 6 months businesses in that realm increasing productivity or increasing sales. So I would definitely watch out for that. Other than anything that deals with car repairs.
I like manufacturing. No, maybe a little Boeing.
Doesn't employment lag as a recessionary indicator? So wouldn't you be anticipating more layoffs going forward, not increased hiring next year?
Oh, absolutely. But maybe there's some outliers, like, for example, maybe the medical industry is going to be bringing on more people because there's more demand there than you can see in more economy-based companies. I know there's a lot of things that are contingent upon that. For example, in Italy, if you're an engineer in Italy right now, you're going crazy. Otherwise, shit sucks, right? Banks in Italy always down, not and never performing to the level that you see here. But doctors, engineers, skills like that are always in greater demand. So maybe companies like one was said before, Boeing, could be bringing more people on for purposes like that.
Are there any companies that are like based around, well, so medical, yes, but are there any publicly traded mental health help companies? Because I do think that we're going to see lots of growth there, but also for consumer products, I think we're going to be seeing people going to things like Walmart because you're going to have people are going to go to the less expensive options. As a consumer, as the person who's done all of the purchasing in my house for the past 10 years, I can say that my budget's tight. Walmart's where I'm buying them right now. And I think that we're going to see a lot of that. And also trucking companies are really, I don't know if there's any publicly traded trucking companies, but I would say that those will probably also stay afloat.
Well, Walmart is the largest employer in the United States, other than the government. So,
Speaking of that, does anyone know when the Walmart Christmas party is for the self checkout clerks?
it's at Weave's house. It's tomorrow.
Oh gosh, people might show up.
Hey, y'all are coming to my house or our neck of the woods, I guess. Y'all trying to party? It's a dangerous place to come to. I don't know if I would invite you guys down here.
Yeah,
We just have a party at the Walmart.
yeah, you can do what the one guy did. My last day of work last week, Saturday, we had a guy who overdosed in the bathroom. At least he was on the verge of it.
Sounds like our town there, bro.
What a interesting turn. So, any other plays?
Are we calling this Mental Health Day? I mean, I believe that passed, guys. No offense.
I mean, I'll take a
So,
fucking mental health day. Is my
there
boss going to agree to that?
trying to keep this from going off the rails or getting it back on the rails. In terms of like the publicly traded mental health companies, there are a few that specifically are like the telehealth for therapy and that. I had one that I was invested in and it freaking tanked after earnings when I first invested into it, so I got out of it. So the main thing is right now, out of all the companies out there that are publicly traded, they're not performing too well, which is unfortunate. But so I'd say right now, it's not a good time to go into those companies if you're trying to actually make money.
It seems like
I thought we were talking like opportunities for growth in 2023. I definitely would not say right now because it's still we haven't gotten the adoption that we need. We haven't gotten. First of all, we have companies that are just starting out doing this because this is a new, mental health companies that provide total services that people adopt, which they need. That's going to take some time, but I think that we are going to see a higher demand for it. There's a huge demand for it. There's a huge demand.
Yeah,
For those
so
guys, sorry,
go ahead.
for those guys looking for what job openings might pop up by sector, I posted a chart from BLS in the comments that gives you from 2007 to now, kind of trends if you want to look at past patterns.
I feel like when it comes to mental health, there's a huge stigma around it, and it's going to take a long time before people start, or a lot more people start openly taking that help. So I'm still long-term bearish on any of those places.
I think, excuse me, my first time speaking up in these meetings. Pear Therapeutics is a pretty good, I think, a pretty good company for growth in the mental health care sector over the coming year. You can look them up. They developed something called PDTs, Prescription Digital Therapeutics, which is essentially cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, via an app in your phone. And they're setting up deals now with actually with prisons to treat inmates for addiction problems and things like that.
It's below our market cap, I think.
We
273
don't
million.
have a minimum market cap anymore. What's that ticker?
PEAR. We don't have a minimum market cap anymore?
That is correct.
Okay, then, but go check it out. I think it's interesting. Actually, the reason I raised my hand, though, is, and I'm sorry if I'm derailing a little bit, I just wanted to point out that the gentleman who tipped us off about GitLab yesterday was absolutely correct. It happened just like he said. There was a dip and a very good earnings and a post-market rally. And it's actually still rallying now in the pre-market. So I, for one, would like to hear what everyone has to say about that.
Yes, sir. GitLab. I made a call option play on that. I can't remember the other gentleman who brought it up initially, but the expected move I was mentioning was an 18%, and it actually hit, and it went up even 20%. But the expected move of 18% could have been up or down. You just had to decide which way it was going to go. The support was around $37, so the award to risk was significantly higher in this case scenario for calls. So I ended up grabbing some calls, and I'll post some gains here at open, assuming it holds. But the earnings, it looks like they beat.
Thank you.
As far as like the mental health stocks, I think it's super wholesome to think that people would cope with financial issues in a healthy way, like seeing a therapist. However, history has shown that when the economy goes south, like during the 2008 recession, when we all got stimulus checks, the weed man got paid and the corner liquor store got paid. So I'll be looking at beer and liquor.
Nice.
I've got mental health counseling.
Great point. Great point.
I've got a macro question, sort of my global macro question. So I read an article yesterday that there's an $80 trillion FX swap debt that seems to be like a risk on the global economy. This came from the Bank of International Settlements.
You're getting quieter and quieter.
I'm not really.
What train station are we at?
He's slowly backing away from the phone as it sits across the room.
He's speaking through the blockchain.
I think he's being smothered by a pillow.
Can you guys hear better now?
Yes.
Much better.
All right. I read an article yesterday that there's an $80 trillion blind spot regarding FX swaps, foreign currency swaps, I think it is. I'm not really familiar with foreign currency trading, but what kind of a risk would that pose to the global economy and markets overall, if anyone is familiar with what those are?
It's basically nothing. Those people don't know what the hell Forex is. I think I commented on that and said that these people probably think Forex is a brand of condom. Here's the thing. The foreign currency exchange clears $1 quadrillion. Quadrillion. That's with a Q, folks, every year. It trades around $5 to $6 trillion a day in currency exchanges. So, on paper, that's a huge number. In practice, I don't know. It's certainly larger than it was a few years ago, which that's concerning that it's rising. But, it's not. The headline is pretty sensational for what it actually is, in my opinion.
Scald, can I get Forex and extra large?
Medium.
Magnum.
I do want to say that was pretty good. That anybody that bought cold last week when I was talking about it, that's the EFT to short natural gas. Was down at 12, dipped down into the $10.30 range. It's now at 21. So I don't see it going away soon, but I'm not going to stay in it too much longer. I'm going to grab my shares that I have and sell them here in the next few days. Also have some SCO shares shorting oil. Of course, they are up today too. Yesterday, cold went up 20% for the day. So if you're shorting natural gas and oil, you're doing okay today.
Hey, Scald, how do you feel about those that Nintendo ticker?
I'm liking it, man. I'm liking it.
I was liking it at 1070 much more than I did at 1030.
I'm thinking about adding it to my Boomer portfolio as a long hold for 3 to 5.
Yeah.
So a little bit of downward motion isn't the end of the world. I'll just buy in at that price.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think that play was supposed to run until May, but I think you're right. I think I might just put it in a bucket and hold on to it.
Well, a company I've been playing with a little bit is Arbot. It's RBOT, Vicarious Surgical. They're hitting 52-week lows currently. They're definitely not profitable yet. They're a new company, but they're backed by Bill Gates, you may have heard of him, and Becton Dickinson, which is one of the largest medical manufacturing companies in the world. They're both backing Arbot, Vicarious Surgical, which is also a booming industry. So might be a good time to go along some shares here. At least I am. Thank you for listening.
For those of you who are too young, Bill Gates was like the Elon Musk of the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Twitter.
So we're talking about healthcare, and it's been a long time since I've been in healthcare. I worked for a company 4, 5, 6 years ago called Community Health Systems, CHS. And I was wondering if they were traded. I'm looking at a ticker that's CYH that represents Community Health Systems. I don't know if that's the right one or not, but what I do know is that if that's the same company, Community Health Systems represents, I mean, shit, they own probably most of the hospitals in the United States. There's not many that they don't have a hand in. So if you're interested in healthcare, that's a company to look at. It's really cheap right now for some reason.
Hey, can I make a
What
quick
was that
comment?
ticker?
CYH.
All right. Sorry, guys. I'm actually driving. That's why I was like. So this is basically my wheelhouse on like healthcare licensing. So if you guys want to like capitalize on like mental health, I mean, there's several things to be mindful of. Like it's divided into two major parts. One is psychology, and the other is psychiatry. Psychology is basically your therapist. You lay on the chair, you talk about your life stories and shit like that, and you pay them like, I don't know, somewhere between like $80 to $150, depending on how good these therapists are. So, when everybody's talking about telemed, yes, it's a good idea. However, many of these like Zoom-esque like platforms can already provide this kind of service. So it's a redundancy that cannot be really, it's a highly competitive platform where Zoom can already do like HIPAA compliant, I guess, telemedicine. And then there's a company called Doxy, which is not publicly traded. That's another one of these telemedicine platforms. And then many of the boomer therapists use telephone for talk therapy. That's one aspect. The other aspect is psychiatry, basically medication management. That gets a little tricky because it requires a licensed physician or a nurse practitioner or possibly a physician's assistant, depending on where you are in America. And what that does is that you can do the telemed consult, but you still have to go in to take vitals, which gets a little complicated. And again, like the money isn't there for the telemed to make, because what the problem is the HMO makes all the money. So really, you want to play calls on HMOs because they are the ones that employ the doctors and all the hospitals and all of these like telemed services. So like, and actually like companies like Aetna Health, they already have their own like in-house services for telemed just to cut down costs. So that's basically the quick rundown for mental health. And then like I hear a lot of people talk about like marijuana, mushrooms, and other drugs. Yes, they are good with, like, they have some really promising data, but the medical community in America is not really accepting of these things right now. There's a lot of reasons behind that, but just you don't have to take my word for it. But right now, like, if you want to be a prescriber of medicine, you're not going to give somebody the license to smoke weed or trip out on shrooms to deal with PTSD. So
I don't
Okay.
agree. I don't
Okay.
really agree necessarily, but
Okay, can we give somebody else another chance here?
all right.
Hi guys, good morning.
Way is Cigna Health. They're actually one of the companies that will be immensely
Is
profitable.
it still going?
Yeah, pass me host and I'll boot him. Oh, okay.
Hi guys, good morning. I want to go off the subject right now, and I want to see if anybody knows about BP Petroleum today. Is a good pick. I know that the winter's coming right now. The OPEC is not drilling no more, giving more oil, and BP should be a good pick today. I think it's a good winner to trade today. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know. Last time I checked on BP, I think they were going through a massive restructuring where they're going for more renewables as opposed to oil. I don't know how that would play out in today's change, but
That was, yeah. I mean, they were 2020. I remember actually I was in BP call. They're about $36. I mean, there's a lot of threat to BP right now, especially with Brexit. So I would tread lightly.
Thank you very
Brexit
much.
was like what, 2017?
So I did a little bit of research on that community health systems company that I gave you guys a minute ago. That ticker was CYH. They own 83 hospitals. I thought that was a lot of hospitals, but I looked it up. We have 7,000 hospitals in the United States, so I guess 83 is not that much. Do with that what you will.
Yeah, I saw the market cap.
They're a REIT, aren't they? It's
What
a
was
REIT
it?
play. It's a healthcare REIT. They own the buildings the hospitals are in. It's a great boomer play. If you want to toss it in your boomer portfolio. Okay, let's get to some
It's
trades.
a little bit more than that though, because when I was working for the hospital, I was working for CHS. So I actually transferred under CHS's umbrella from Tucson to Knoxville, right? And so you can do that. I could transfer anywhere in the country as long as it was another CHS hospital. All the infrastructure, all the rules, the employment, HR, all that stuff is CHS.
Could we talk about the SPX instead?
I mean,
is that allowed to say?
Yeah, you just did. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, my point of view for today is basically manipulation to the max, which is basically we're going sideways. We're gonna hit 428. We're gonna go down to 39.79, and then straight up to 40.48. Do you disagree or?
Is that your magic ball telling you this?
Yeah, it is.
Left or the right one?
It's a crazy magic ball that just happens every time these kinds of patterns, like basically, just suddenly appear.
Not financial advice, guys.
Hey, Mass, is this a astrology guy here? What do we got going on?
No. I am basically the Jupiter of Mars.
What the?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
important.
I think I just went for the VSB like astrology version of this kind of like I'm not from America, so my English is like,
You don't say.
Okay. Thank you. But I basically
I remember my first time taking Molly.
every time I'm seeing these kinds of like VSB talks, all I think about is basically why are we doing this when the market is how it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome journalist number 2. And the audience.
Noise.
Oh gosh, don't make us relive that trauma.
Back to coherent sentences.
What else are we gonna do, buddy? If the market's stuck, what else are we gonna do? We just talk shit about it.
Right on time. Hardy's on.
I love Reddit so
Good
much.
morning, everyone.
Going
morning,
back to the
Hardy.
BP question, hey, as long as oil's below $41 a barrel, these oil companies are mostly going to be making money. So never a bad play. But as oil's falling, the stock prices usually will fall too because they make a little less money.
Yeah, I was just gonna trade today BP just to see if it was a good day trade there.
So, in terms of BP, they are closer to Gamma Max, and whenever that happens, they tend to shy away. So, I agree with the short-term bearish play. I would be a little concerned, however, when PPI comes out on Friday. So, just bear that in mind.
Thank you.
Also, unemployment claims and non-farm revisions. Unemployment claims come out on Thursday, and non-farm payroll revisions come out tomorrow. So there's a chance that the non-farm payroll that was reported, I think, a week ago, is going to be dramatically incorrect.
Hey guys, off the subject. Is this every day? My first time here. Is this every day? And how do I get in here every day?
Same way you got in here today.
Who let this guy in?
I got invited. Yeah, you guys let me in.
We won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake.
Hey guys, I know you prod yourselves to be a bunch of retards, but I think I am more. So I have 3 questions. I apologize, I wasn't here yesterday, so I don't know. Have you discussed the secret forbidden stock that's being reported? The earnings are coming out on Wednesday after closing, and then if that's not something that we can talk about, what are your thoughts on DocuSign on Thursday?
Not who have invested in Voldemort.
Same.
It could go up or it could go down.
You could talk about GameStop on here.
So this week is good. Like so I don't know. I only have questions. Literally, I have no plays. So if that's not okay, I'll shut up.
That's not okay. You got to have a play on it, man. Come on.
Okay, so then I only have a play on. I have a thought on DocuSign. I mean, virtual everything. Is that gonna just it's getting more virtual and more remote, and so DocuSign good?
It's not even a play.
That sounded more like a question. So your question is, will DocuSign go up because things are going to be more virtual? Well, the return to office movement's continuing, and the amount of remote workers probably isn't going to increase substantially from COVID highs. So if you were writing DocuSign off the COVID numbers, I would say that ship has sailed. I will say that people will continue to accept the virtual office space, so they'll continue to experience elevated revenues compared to like their 2019 numbers, but price it accordingly.
Right, but even if we're going back to the office, probably for contracts, we're probably still gonna be using virtual.
So DocuSign requires it's an online way for people to sign contracts, right? Do you anticipate the number of digitally signed contracts to increase in a meaningful way between now and next earnings? If so, bullish. If not, flat to bearish.
I mean, I would say that adoption will continue grow, but not.
I'm not saying zero growth. I'm saying higher than expected growth.
Right. All right. Good point. I don't have an answer, but I like to try understand how to think about it.
Keep thinking. We love it.
I mean, if you're looking at the DocuSign chart, it's at $40 right now. It's actually pretty low in comparison to even 2020's lows. So if you're looking at earnings, assuming they beat, could be a good play.
Didn't they have a share buyback at some point?
I'm not sure. But
So
if they did, then that's completely irrelevant on my point then.
basically, see if they did either an equity raise or a share buyback, because the market cap has been relatively linear.
All right, I'll look into it.
Sounds super peaceful at your house, Artie.
I am actually in Manhattan today, not at home.
Sounds peaceful either way.
Oh, you're a New Yorker. Me too. But I'm not down where you are. I'm central.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
All right, this is what I was waiting for. Good morning, everybody. I didn't want to interrupt any real plays, but since it's a little lull, since it got brought up earlier, just piggybacking, too long didn't read off of the Nintendo calls. Based on what I think it was, not Hardy. Sorry, I forgot who just did a whole presentation on Nintendo like last week. They were basically right. It's a long-term play.
Loose.
There you go. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. So Loose, he was right financially, but I can tell he's not really much of a gamer and doesn't know the market too well as far as like the customer base. They're very flippant. They'll say that they hate something. For example, there's a controversy going on right now with the whole Smash game community and like people making unlicensed tournaments and stuff. Whatever. Nintendo's one of those companies that is the only one aside from WWE that actively attacks their own customers, yet they still make money off of them. It's insane. So it's a long-term play. I mean, you would think so, right? You would think, oh, you know, they attack the customer base and the customer base gets mad, but at the end of the day, they end up buying the games anyways. Like, for example, the new Pokemon games. terrible, but they're outselling every old game completely. So it is just a boring long-term retirement thing. So just
Even
for
ones in
everybody
yellow.
say what? Yeah, they're outsold yellow too. They're terrible games. Like they a bunch of like bad patches that haven't been fixed up. It's like a 30 rate, 30 frame rate. It's just bad. And as far as like even though we don't have console wars anymore, they're basically done. Always in every generation they were always behind technologically wise, right? They were like the worst graphics, whatever, but they have those IPs. So they'll be fine. They won't die. Customers
I
go.
think that they have a really, really strong brand because it's nostalgic.
Correct.
So you have a huge customer base. It's not just young people. It's people that are my age and older, which I'm 38. So I'm a geriatric millennial. And I would say that you would likely see, I mean, people my age are like, oh my gosh, I got the Nintendo out or whatever. Like people love Nintendo. We love Sega, but we really love Nintendo for some reason.
She's right.
But so you said that this is a long play?
Oh yeah,
Or
100%.
whoever said that this is a long play? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Like I did the exact same thing with Sony back in the day, back when it was only like $8 a stock, and now it's like 83 or something last time I checked. So it's the same thing, except Sony was actually, they obviously have more than just game consoles, but it's the exact same thing. It'll grow. It's a long-term play. You can, whenever they decide to give off better shares or whatever, but you're fine. You're good. No fear there. It might dip a little just because I don't know. I've never seen another company aside back from the 360 with Microsoft that has gotten into like controversy after controversy after controversy, and then they just still make money. It doesn't matter. Whenever Zelda comes out, whenever Mario comes out, whenever Pokemon comes out, it's gonna make money.
For those of you who are looking for plays, I'm currently looking at, let's see, it can't be right. I'm looking at GameStop $22 puts, selling them to try and capture as much theta and vega as I can ahead of earnings.
What's the expiry?
December 9.
GameStop on sale.
Speaking of DocuSign, just looking at their 10K, it looks like they have a ton of stock-based compensation. They just ramped it up over the last 2 years. They're almost giving $500 million in stock-based compensation to their execs. They also, their Hardy, did a small share issuance, but they just repurchased the stock pretty much in droves every single time.
Is that share-based compensation coming out of Treasury or coming out of float?
Ooh, let me look that up.
If it's
Give me a
coming out
sec.
of Treasury, it means it's going to be dilution.
For those that you also want to look up, I just posted the link in the comments. Let me check that out.
So GameStop earnings are tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's gonna be aftermarket close, right?
Yep. And their IV is middle of the road, so there's a surprising lack of uncertainty.
Sounds like a good day for a party.
Wait. So we expect to go up? Like we expect earnings to be good?
I didn't say that. I said there's a lot of there's very little uncertainty. So if you were to try and sell an iron condor or a strangle, the width between the strikes would be narrower than in past earnings reports. So something different is going on about expectations.
Is there any expected move on GameStop currently?
Well, if you take the at the money call and put strangle for December 9, you can infer what the expected move is. It'll be between those two, the strike plus those premiums. I don't have a terminal in front of me at the moment, but that's a very hacky way to check.
I misspoke. I'm wondering if we're expecting them to have good earnings at all. Like, where are they making money?
Games. We've had some pretty big releases, and you're also looking at the fact that you'll have a little bit of a run up for third quarter earnings sprinkled in there right before the big fourth quarter.
Yeah, projections could change and big fourth quarter, whatnot.
Yeah.
They also make money off of retail and statues too. Like that market's gone up a lot ever since their other store closed down, and now it's all at GameStop.
I'm sorry, did you say statues? Please explain.
Yeah, they make sometimes they make like big ass statues, and other times they make those collector ones. For the most part, it's the little collector ones that are like they range anywhere between $25 to $400, depending on how rare it is and who makes it, like FHS, Figure Arts, and all that stuff. So they range in price, but they make a lot of money off of that too.
So I was just looking at the expected move for GameStop. It's about 11.9%. And then for Docu, it's actually at 16% for earnings.
So speaking of, so I think you're talking about like the Funko Pops. Is that what you're talking about?
It's not just those. Yeah, it's not just those. They have those too. Like they have walls of those as well. But they have like I don't know. You ever see back in the 90s they had those little statues. I'm trying to think of the most commonly found ones. But like back in the day they had like those Dragon Ball statues that didn't move. They were just there for decoration. Those things have like evolved throughout time now because all the kids are adults now. So they have like high quality statues and collectibles. So they have, just retail clothes. They also have those statues, collectibles, and like toys, just wrestling toys, anime toys. If you walk
we're
into any
talking
GameStop now, you can see them.
like a 6 foot tall nerd statue of Batman
Right.
for like $600. That's what we're talking about.
Like every once in a while, but for the most part, it's something like I don't know, 24 inch, anywhere between the 12 inch, 24 inches. Some of them are posable, some of them are not, and just people and collectibles, bro. They pay a lot for that.
Is it
You
like
could-
man caves decoration stuff?
Yeah, you could definitely look at that. And people who just like appreciate art or are huge anime nerds, like you can see that. Sorry, geeks. Didn't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a geek. I'd buy that shit if I could afford it. But I mean, no, I'm not kidding. I would cover my house in 6 foot tall geek statues if I could afford it. But they're fucking expensive.
That would be
Some of them
really
are cheap.
interesting to see. And if you do strike it rich from these conversations, please tell us where you live so that we can come and see it.
I'm fucking inviting you guys. We're gonna have a tour.
I personally have a wall at home
party,
full of
so.
collectibles. So
On the next episode of Pimp My Weeb Crib.
yeah.
You'd be surprised, man. Hey, some of those grow. Like they are kind of like stocks. If you could get them cheap enough, depending on who makes them. For example, I have some Broly's that I bought at 80 and now they're like 140 each. And they might grow, they might not. Who cares? Like if some people don't care, they just collect it.
Dude, buy the statues and charge admission to your home.
Yeah, no, because then they'll steal all my other shit.
I seen like a 6 foot Iron Man that was going for like $900. That was pretty dope.
Yeah,
They're
those.
expensive.
You rarely see those types at GameStop. The ones you see mostly are anywhere between 12 inches to like 24 inches or something. Sometimes a little bit bigger, but they range again. They range $25 to $400.
Yeah.
Say what?
I know what you're talking about. Those are expensive as fuck too, where they're like 24 inches or whatever. Those nice, but they're expensive.
Yeah,
Hey,
but they'll pay.
talk about stocks. Is that cool? If we talk about stocks.
We are.
So,
We're talking
yeah,
about
since we want to talk about collectibles, let's talk about Funko. Talk about Funko Pop. Funko Pop's supposed to be trading company. And let's go from there. What do we think?
What's your thesis on Funko's called?
Well, it tanked a few months back, and I went long. And from there, it sort of recovered a little bit. However, I just wanted to hear, has anyone played Funko in the fourth quarter before in the past? Because I have not.
I just tried looking for Funko Pops to buy. There's a lot of like clearance style sales going on at the moment for what appear to be the less popular ones. So it's not looking good from my perspective.
I think it all is based around what IP they're able to get, and they have some competitors, for example, U2's, which seem to be snagging up the nicer and more easily sellable or marketable IP.
And mainly just like the figurines and the statues and stuff, it goes to rarity as well. Like you're not gonna compare anything you could get over the counter compared to what you get at like San Diego Comic-Con for 1 year. That they're exclusive to that event. That's where the real money is. So it's more of a secondhand market thing.
All right, so slightly bearish on that. Got it.
Hey, Hardy, did you get into team puts? Or anybody else trading Atlassian?
I had a small position in team puts, but from a while ago, so I'm still in the red there. I know they went back up to Gamma Max, so I'm hoping that's the highest it'll go before dropping back down below like 116-ish.
Yeah, I sold a naked call on them yesterday. Looking good so far. I don't know a ton about the company, but I at least read that they were like a zombie tech company sort of deal. Lots of debt.
Yeah, but they have a lot of Fortune 500 clients, and that basically means it's really sticky revenue.
That makes sense.
What
Atlassian.
Yeah, okay.
Is there any football, actually soccer fanatic here that has an opinion on Man United?
No.
Yep.
It's soccer.
Yeah, it's called soccer.
Yes.
So Thursday after close, and how are you thinking about it?
Well, Canada lost in the World Cup, so I don't care about it anymore. But tell me about, Man U. I mean, does it have any comparables? I don't think I've seen any other like teams be publicly traded.
It's up 71% in the month.
I don't even know what to do with that. How do you do that? How do you bet on a team like that in the stock market?
I mean, I guess
Cristiano
it all
Ronaldo
turned
just
down
left.
to.
Is that good or bad?
What was that?
Cristiano Ronaldo was left the team a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. A lot of drama. Is that good? Is
Yeah.
that bad?
Yeah, I know he signed with the Saudi team, but it would depend on who replaces him. Because obviously, as much as I hate Ronaldo, he is a world-class player and kind of a league of his own. So it depends what kind of talent void is filled, if they can do it at a discount. Because if they can still win matches, still win championships and that with a cheaper player, that's all the more bullish. If they start having a hard time and you start seeing, Manchester United doing really poorly in the Premier League and the Champions League, you're going to see people just hate the team, and that would hurt sales in terms of ticket sales and other.
You said Ronaldo left the team like a month ago? Because it's looking like around the end of November, the stock price shot up like faster than it's ever shot up in history. So
he left about a month ago. I mean, I used to be a big fan when you had like players like Rooney and them, but I kind of just stopped.
Yeah, so it looks like the impact to the stock is very positive, but it looks like that's already played out. So unless you think they're going to lose.
Yeah,
Sorry.
another thing about Man United, based on what I'm reading on why it went up, is that they're looking to make a strategic move, which includes a potential sale.
The one thing that surprises me is that, Ronaldo leaving the team means a lot less T-shirts with his name sold. So, in terms of earnings, that shouldn't be a good thing. But
I would argue the reverse, because now that he's not part of the team, no new shirts will be made because future jersey designs will not include him.
Right,
So
but
the
he's
existing
like
legacy.
the number 1 or 2 player in the world, so everybody's buying the Ronaldo T-shirt.
Definitely
My
number
point is
2.
they're becoming collectibles.
Oh, because they're not making any more. Okay.
And Messi is number 1. Just
All right, we got about a little less than 8 minutes till market open. We got any other plays out there? I know our favorite, crap stock, Bed Bath & Beyond, it shot up a little bit yesterday, and then it closed still slightly green, but it's looking very good for my puts.
I'm looking at potentially going short on oil companies. The price of oil has gone down, but the energy sector has still stayed up pretty high, so there's a gap there. I don't know if anybody's seen that chart. Also possibly looking at cash secured puts on coin, since premium's like 10% of the whole value, so you can get about $400 premium.
Yep, I'm in on that coin selling puts.
Yeah, if it dips.
All right, I got to go do my real job for a little while, but I hope everybody has a really nice day. And thanks for all of the information this morning. I really love your guys' contribution.
Love you back.
Thanks
care,
for
guys.
joining us. You have a good day with that real job.
What's
a job?
what's real?
You guys are awesome. Okay, bye.
Well, now that all the women left.
Not again.
So
Grinder calls.
Opinion has nightmares about us. Let's be real, guys. Like, he wakes up shuddering and sweating at night.
Way to go, journalist clone.
All right.
I have a play. I'm just gonna inverse journalist clone because I think DocuSign's gonna go down.
Why do you think it's
I'm
going?
also the guy with the GitHub talk yesterday during market hours.
GitLab.
My
Wait,
bad.
who's talking about GitHub during market hours? What?
I said
All right.
GitLab during market hours.
He
Yeah,
meant
never mind.
GitLab.
Forget I.
Malhar, are you saying you were the one that brought up GitLab, right?
Yeah, we were talking about it during market hours.
Yeah, that was me and you talking back and forth on it.
Yep. Yeah, I think DocuSign is seems like it's going to go down. I'm very bearish on it. Now that we're going back to normal and the remote work push is ending.
But do you think with latest earnings, though, that it's already too drastic where folks have all gone back in? It seems like it's still pretty divided on remote versus in person. I don't think it's fully gone back in person.
Yeah, to clarify my statements about DocuSign earlier, I was just saying that you guys should look at the 2019 growth and expect growth rates closer to that. So literally, it's that simple. Just look at how it was growing before the pandemic and plan on it going back to that level of growth or slightly lower.
So I struggle with electronic signature stuff because, to me, I guess as a software guy, I feel like that's just going to be built in. You know what I mean? Like, when I do a Word document, it can't be that much of a stretch for Microsoft to include electronic signatures in that. And so I'm not very bullish on DocuSign because of stuff like that.
You can even sign an Excel document, and Adobe has all that stuff. So there's absolutely no moat at all.
I think that more like Zoom, they just had insane growth during COVID years, and I don't think they're going to be able to sustain it. And we're going to be seeing that in the next few earnings.
But isn't the play about how they did in the last 3 months? That's just a question.
Yes, my play is for earnings, but I was just saying that.
I think what he's trying to say is that the forward looking for earnings, it's not going to look too well.
I would caution you guys that I don't think COVID played so much into DocuSign as much as the housing market being what it was did. There were a lot of houses that got sold, and I think DocuSign played a big role in that. I know I signed a shitload of electronic documents when I bought mine.
Yeah, real estate agents, that sector loves DocuSign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They
I was using
actually,
it way before COVID. Like, it was just the most convenient way.
it was the mortgage. This was my second mortgage, so it was actually really interesting to see the progression in the electronic signature. My first mortgage was about 7 years ago or so, and I had to actually go in the office and sign probably 30 pages or so. But this one, I only signed one page. Everything else I did electronically before I even got to the office.
Same here.
SPY puts December 9th, 398 strike.
That's ballsy of you.
I'll probably be selling those to you.
Now think if you could just find each other, you wouldn't even need to pay any commissions.
Yep. You guys could just exchange money and favors.
Oh, favors.
At Wendy's.
Wendy's. I'm
Wendy's,
back
yeah.
here. Behind
I
Wendy's.
figured it was it was implied that we're all at Wendy's anyway.
Yeah. I think it was just a matter of time before Wendy's got mentioned. All right. Well, last minute. Any last minute plays? Literally last minute. Or reiteration of previous plays.
Fuck it. I'm doing docu puts. December 16th. Haven't chosen a strike yet.
What's wrong with Doc?
I think I might take some advance auto calls. Maybe they'll trade with AutoZone on their earnings release.
All
Gentlemen,
right.
on this fine day, we are all regarded together. Never forget.
Never forget. That's market open. Do you want to keep it rolling?
Godspeed, gentlemen. Godspeed.
Don't stop, can't stop.
Good good luck, whatever.
Well, I'm curious. Let's keep it going for like another 10, 15 minutes. See who's getting burnt as prices move.
So while we're in a lull here, I'll say again for the people that missed it yesterday, Luce came in and did Nintendo last week, and we weren't really sure the difference between NTDOY and NTDOF. I'm still not sure the difference, but what I do know is that NTDOF pays out a dividend, and it seems like it's a pretty high one. I'm not really sure, but it's like 40 cents a
Go
share.
Y, NTDOY.
The difference
Yeah,
is
no.
one's an ADR and one is not. One's traded in Japan. Isn't that correct?
Right. So I don't fully understand what's going on there, but I do know that DOF pays a dividend. I found that out. That's what I'm trying to relate to you.
Yeah, I believe the one that Luce is pushing does pay a dividend, probably around 4%ish, somewhere around there. But that's an ADR traded in the States.
Yeah. So the other thing is the volume on the NTDOY is a lot higher than the NTDOF. And that's because I think the ADR is basically it's trading at like a 5-to-1 ratio between that and the actual shares of the stock. So the NTDOF is the 1-to-1, but stateside wise, there's a lot more volume in trading for the NTDOY.
Doesn't the fact that the non-stateside trading one costs more
because you got to pay a higher commission to trade ADRs?
Well, I believe you pay more in taxes if you were trading the Japanese one. So
Yeah, I don't know how it all plays out. I just saw the 40 cents on the dividend. I thought that was a pretty good dividend. But maybe you lose a lot of that in the taxes or whatever, right?
Wait, you pay more if you buy them on foreign exchange? How does that work?
I believe in the States you would, yeah.
Yeah, if you buy an ADR out of the States, then you have to pay your broker a higher commission fee.
No, but apart from the commission fee, do you actually pay like higher tax at the end of the year, or?
Oh,
Yeah, I've traded some Canadian stock before, and what was it, Nokia? And yeah, there's different taxes for that, different charges for that stuff.
Yeah, your brokerage should withhold the taxes from the dividend payment, and then at the end of the calendar year, when you file your taxes, you should actually see some of the money come back to you, but not all. It really depends.
So I wasn't talking out of my ass.
Oh yeah, it's
I was.
Yeah, no, you guys are correct. Yeah, so it's normally your brokerage will do the tax withholding on ADR dividends. It's typically how it works, and then how those taxes get settled up at the end of the year, that's dependent on a lot of factors.
So I think realistic, what we're saying is that, yeah, we're going to get a dividend, but we're probably going to cut that in half in losses, right?
We're saying trade the ADR if you live in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GitLab call went up 79%. Closed it.
Looks like SPY is just moving violently sideways in pre-market and at open.
Wait, didn't somebody say it was going to move sideways earlier? Wasn't that Journalist 2.0?
They said what? Sorry,
That it
come
was.
again?
I'm pretty sure Journalist 2.0 that we bumped out of here earlier said that it was going to be sideways.
He did. Good call.
Well, that's silly. I'm gonna buy calls. Well, I mean, if you think it's going to trade sideways through the day, there's plenty of options to make money off that, folks.
I think we're all actively just looking at the market or taking things a little bit slow. So I'm going to start digging into random speakers' profile and pull up topic.
So I am currently in AAL call side, looking pretty juicy. Looking to cash in on the 14.5 calls expiring this Friday. Also playing the BAC call side, JPM 35 calls too as well. Looking for financials and travel to go up today.
I had a BSC position that got ruined last week, so probably a good time to buy.
Human Genome, you said 2 days ago that you had $275 puts on SPY, which is an insane way out, but the price has fallen like 2% since then. So are you up at all?
Yeah, I actually bought those a while ago, so those are looking pretty good right now. We'll see what happens. Those are long dated puts. I think the expiry on those is June 2023.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also forecasting like what is that, like a 30% drop, 20% drop in SPY?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
Well, all right.
I'm thinking the like the first quarter after the holidays and everything are over. I think the proverbial poop is going to hit the fan, and we're gonna see our drop. And it's also supported by Bezos's claim that we shouldn't be buying any large ticket items right now. So I think there's going to be a significant drop in the first quarter, and I think those will print nicely.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Jeff Bezos telling people not to buy high value items or whatnot, but yet Amazon has a ton of those.
It's good he already bought his yacht then.
He needs a second yacht.
I don't think Jeff Bezos is. He's just on the board, I think, of Amazon now. He's not actually part of it.
Yeah, he's on the board. I mean, he's still part of it, but Andy Jassy is the running CEO.
Right on.
Yeah, Andy Jassy, he was the AWS CEO at the time that took it from where it was to what it's now.
So I think we all make the assumption that Jeff Bezos is still in charge, but like, is that actually how it goes? If he walks in the room and he's like, "No, we're doing it this way," like, does that happen?
It's a good question. I would assume that he would get like a whole bunch of like deference and people would like listen to him, but I don't think he could like unanimously just decide something.
So the current CEO, Andy, used to be the chief of staff for Jeff Bezos during the early times of Amazon. So he's essentially a mini-me version of Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
The only difference is that Andy hasn't been in a leading role during a recessionary period like Jeff was. So it's going to be a little different to see, how Andy handles it. But so far, they're doing layoffs.
Sounds a whole lot like Jeff's still in charge.
Yeah, I mean, the culture is super culty like. So Andy, being the chief of staff at the time, he just mimics Jeff's movements and plays and everything. So I don't see too much of a difference. And of course, he has Jeff to always consult to.
Hey, a couple important things. One, not stock related. Rest in peace, Kirstie Alley,
Right?
star of Cheers.
Jenny
and
Craig.
She was also in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan as a Falcon. And Look Who's Talking. Great actress. Wow, that was it takes me back to remember all the stuff she did. The second thing, the 10-year yield is down to 3.562, but the inverse spread between them is now at 0.82. So it's widening, but as long as that 10-year keeps going down, I think I'm going to be in SPY calls. But let's go back to the Kirstie Alley, who absolutely loved her.
Man, the Look Who's Talking movies, hands down, biggest movies of my childhood.
I'm young enough that she, or old enough that she was when she first came on Cheers, I was watching it weekly, every Thursday. That was just, wow. She, I thought that show was dead when Shelley Long left, but at first I didn't take to it very well, but she filled that role very well.
She was cool.
I also have a non-stock related question, but it's about Wall Street Bets. There was a moderator called Loose Venture. I haven't seen him in a while. Just checking in, and anybody knows.
He quit everything.
Yeah, he lost everything, and then like kind of in his despair, he was like in a drunken rage at the like Nintendo's America head office. And so he actually got arrested, not just for like the public intoxication, but he pulled out a switch from like his pocket and just started peeing on it. So
yeah,
and he was found in a scandal with Zuckerberg.
He started a website.
Weird, man.
He started a website called Gangbang Time. I don't know if you guys ever saw it.
They took it down real quick, didn't they?
That's
Yeah.
my
Now he's on Japan. I can attest to this.
Pour one out for Loose.
Isn't he on the board for a Grinder now?
He was for like a minute.
But then the Nintendo thing, so
Yeah.
It was a bilateral move.
Yeah, but I heard he's being fed well in the Japanese holding cell. So he's currently, last time I heard, was eating fish. It was on the
I
menu.
fucking love you guys so much.
What was that website, where we can check on loose? What was it?
Oh,
Spaghetti Slurp?
yes, whatever, 6,000, I think it was.
Yeah, Spaghetti Slurp 9,000 or 6,000. I don't know.
It's 2 girls, 1 cup.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Just Google it.
It's blue waffle, bro. Come on.
It's Mr. Hands.
Goatsy.
We gotta play this for him later.
So for Jenny Craig, there's a play there. CSV calls.
You trying to strangle it?
No.
Did anybody jump on Hardy's $22 put GME call or play? I mean, I'm up 20% on that one right now.
I can't tell you how many times. Like, I haven't been here long, and I continue to hear that. Did anybody do the thing Hardy said? I'm up 37,000% on it.
Hardy's like MF and EF Hutton. When he speaks, you just better listen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand what the fuck he's saying.
I heard him laugh once. I mean, it was hysterical.
Yes.
Is this journalist?
This is Hardy. Was that the other day? That was like just the other day. Wasn't an opinion that he laughed and we all shit our pants?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, to confirm, the website to check on loose ventures is spaghettislurp3000.com. That will immediately check on loose ventures for you.
I'm gonna caution you all
Are you
not to
sure
lose
it's
your
not
job.
just gonna fry my computer?
Let's take everything Scald says to you here with a grain of salt, people. If you're at work, do not do what he's telling you to do.
No, it actually just redirects straight to his Reddit profile.
Oh, well, I still don't trust you. Does it really redirect to fucking red? Why?
It was from a
Scald,
chat.
are you seriously telling me that on the time we did this, that you freaking bought a website and set it up to